Hyperplay, the first ASEAN esports and music festival, brings you MTV Spotlight at Hyperplay. Featuring irresistible heartthrob, he's Indonesia's most followed singer, Afghan. Spicier than Tom Yum, here to rock your socks off is Thailand's Slot Machine. Fresh, young and hot, Singapore's dream team, the Sam Willows. Korea's baddest female, give it up for the one and only CL. And more, all coming together with epic League of Legends showdowns. It's a night of history you can't miss. So get your Hyperplay tickets now. Hyperplay, presented by Singapore's Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth and National Youth Council. Powered by Riot Games and MTV. Brought to you by Clear Men. And in partnership with...
Welcome back, Summoners, to Hyperplay PH Qualifiers. We're now at our finals for Minaski versus AEX. So, for the Summoners just tuning in right now, note that we had to go into rather a long break due to our technical difficulties. So, to give you guys a smoother experience, we have fixed our issue, hopefully. And now, on your screens right now, you can see the drafting phase that has happened. So, for those who are just catching up, this is something that we want to give you a recap on, so here is the drafting phase.
Yeah, and of course, this is a best of 3. This is the second game with AX taking away the first game from Minaski. So here is pretty much Minaski's chance to get back the momentum in this best of 3. It's so important in a match like this, especially now that AX now at match point. So if they win this, they're going to Singapore, and definitely Minaski wants to be the one to take that spot. So they're going to fight back real hard for this. So they have to adjust a lot of mistakes that they did in the first game, and AEX, they just have to keep doing very clean plays, just lessen the sloppiness of how they do their initiations, and just keep going for it. Because looking at these compositions, they have very clear conditions for victory, but they can also be easily shut down by each other.
And as Atlas and I did talk about the conditions for Minaski at this point, match point for AEX, yes, so Minaski, as Atlas said, they have to win this game if they want to force a game 3 and still have a chance to go to Singapore. So when it comes to drafting wise, one key thing that did stood out for both of us is that Braum picked against the Ornn, the Yasuo in the mid lane against Aurelia. So expect a lot of counterplay in this game.
Definitely, but it's all about how reaction time, especially for Creasy here, to block the most important ultimates coming from Minaski. He needs to time that wind wall almost perfectly in tandem with everything else, such as the bullet time as well as the Vanguard's edge. But yeah,
it's okay though, even if he does miss the timing just a bit. Note that they have the Call of the Forge God from the Ornn, so know that the misfortune can create a lot of distance, yeah? So what better way to cancel that with the Forge God? But I hope it's not too late. That's why me and Atlas talked about the Braum. The Braum can be one of the obstacles there, so why not AEX play the same mind game with Minaski?
And AEX, they can go in really hard on Minaski, especially since James, if he gets hit, he loses that speed boost he gets from his passive. But of course, Kaigu and the rest of Minaski have a lot of disruption in their kit, so inherently he can be very, very safe while having a very solid front line, while EXO is dancing in the battlefield, going left and right, trying to kill these carries on the side of AEX. And especially since Clyde is on Lucian, who's a little bit shorter range than most other 80 carries, it's going to be a little bit easier for EXO to jump on him with a Blade Surge. So it's going to be very interesting.
So I guess for Summoners returning right now, hope that you didn't miss us too much, or you hate us right now. So peace right there, guys. So we are giving you back the game 2, going into a best of 3 series. So thank you so much for tuning in to our Garena stream here. So thank you so much for the support and the patience you have had with
definitely.
us, if there is still any patience left in
that patience is definitely going to be rewarded here, definitely much more smooth, hopefully. And this is going to be a lot of esports. These are two of the most prominent teams we've had in the Philippine scene for a few years now, and it's going to be quite interesting to see how they perform in Hyperplay.
Yeah, so as Atlas said, Hyperplay, where esports meets music. So the teams here are actually fighting for the spot going to what? The Hyperplay, which will be live in Singapore. So as Atlas said too, this is going to be an important game. I do agree with him, yes, because you get a chance to play on stage, represent the Philippines, of all the 10 countries and 10 teams that will perform live stage and showcase their League of Legends talent.
It's going to be definitely an honor for the team that wins this best of 3. And looking at these two teams, AEX, they're known, especially in best of 3s, they can pull out a lot of surprises. AEX is known for their unorthodox picks, unorthodox strategies. They have shown to be able to survive a best of 5s using their tricks, as seen in one of the rampages in the previous years. But Mineski, they've shown resilience as well. If it's going to be a team that can make it back from a deficit, it is going to be Mineski. And these are two very powerful teams clashing, so we're going to have to see how all that plays out.
I'm pretty sure we may expect a game number 3, but we'll see how game number 2 will pan out because, again, best of 3 series where Mineski at this point feeling a bit better about, feeling a bit anxious, wants to get back into this game here and try and take away a win against AEX because coming from a game 1, for those who are just tuning in, maybe we should give you a short recap of what happened. AEX played it so well with the Morgana, roaming around, picking off picks, not to mention doing aggressive invades and denying the invades too, coming from Mineski.
Yeah, Mineski, they did a very good job surviving. Their carries didn't die so much in the early game, but those were just little cracks that AX was making in the armor of Mineski here, and slowly there was enough space for Mineski's armor just being blown away by AX's aggression, and at that point it was much too late for them. Even if they had good engages, even if AX had a few sloppy, actually very sloppy moments, they weren't able to capitalize on them because their early game was just way too behind to catch up at that point in the game where they were losing. So unfortunately for them, they have to make adjustments in this game for that.
So let's hope for those adjustments to come, Summoners. Game 2 will start right now as we will load up to Summoner's Rift. This is Game 2 of Mineski versus AEX, with AEX at match points. So Hyperplay PH Qualifiers Finals, here we go, guys.
Let's see how they play this out. The level 1 is quite important. It was so huge in the first game and setting the stage. Let's see if Mineski tries to go for something right here.
They want to go for the Crystal Spire.
Those spires are quite important to control for that Skarner to succeed.
Definitely. Look at that. 3 members just sneaking it just behind that wall.
They want that. It seems
they
like
have a Sejuani and a Galastar.
Oh man,
here we go.
Stone's throw away.
Marshmallow gets caught. Okay. Easy there, AEX. 5 members immediately showing up themselves in the riverside. Now they will take control of the Crystal Spire.
Yeah, Mineski diffusing the situation. Of course, they lose this Crystal Spire, but it's better than giving away a little bit of first blood by overcommitting there.
But look at that. Over across the blue side, Hamas will take away that Crystal Spire. So this can affect somehow the speed of the Skarner's clear. So we'll hope that Mineski are trying to, rather the Skarner may go for invade perhaps, because Mineski, they want to get those controls.
Perhaps, but it is a little bit harder. You really don't want to invade when this much is at stake.
There's a ward there though, Atlas. Yeah. This looks very interesting.
They might be able to go for it, because that means they know that Tamsu is starting on the top side. So they can possibly make a move, but it seems like Liana or Dodo is rather just going for his Raptors, going for a clear of his own jungle. Doesn't want to risk too much.
It's going to be quick.
This point.
It's going to be quick, Atlas. So it's pretty exciting. We did see some things happen there. Meanwhile, Leo EXO taking a lot of damage and Ignite flash out from the Aurelia. That kind of woke up the game here as EXO very close to death here. Calls in the help from Liana. EXO, careful there. Yasuo has no flash, but does have the Sweeping Blade to escape. Here comes the stun. Sejuani here for the counter gank. Still Tempest. Last stack there, forcing out a flash from Liana there. So 2 summoners spells burnt there, the flash both for the Skarner and the Aurelia. Meanwhile, on the riverside, a stun to connect to the Alistar, forcing out his own flash again. So right now, it's about a game of burning that flash to step things up in the future.
Let's see, Liana burned his flash. Tamsu still has his. Just going from a quick counter gank, that means Tamsu has a small advantage if he wants to go for something. Liana, being that Skarner, he wants to rush that level 6. He does have some ganking potential pre-6 with a Predator and a stun.
Atlas, check out the blue side.
He's trying to steal that away while Thompson's taking these the top side scuttle. Can go for a blue buff trade here. It doesn't seem like Taigu or EXO are in a position to try and contest that, but definitely Liana is going to appreciate a little bit of taking that down.
But Hamas was left alone there. Gets Ignite kicking off right there. There's the Braum for the
aggressiveness of that, trying to make sure that Hamas doesn't get that's happening in the mid lane. So
and not to mention Atlas, I think we're missing out some details here. Let's check out the CS for the mid lane.
Look at that. Crazy. Look at that CS. Is way too behind the threat of Liana as well as just the general damage that an Irelia can do. Of course, Crazy really threatened EXO out in the level 1 with his Ignite being burned. But after that, EXO loses a lot of kill potential because, rather, Crazy loses a lot of kill potential because EXO still has his Ignite after the reset in mid. So because of that and just the general state, ooh.
What a great hit. Ball pulverize combo coming from the Alistar, stunning down Hamas. That will be an easy pickup for Clyde. So members of AEX feeling good that they managed to finally take down the Misfortune. But Atlas, going back to your point about the mid lane, this is something that is going to be scary for AEX. If they let this Irelia snowball without any control here, guess they're going to go for some control here. EXO gets the Perma stacks, gets some damage reduction, calls in a teleport from the top lane. Kaigo is here, slows down Sejuani. This is bad. Flash in and throws the Yasuo towards the Irelia. And we're seeing a stun and a teleport has channeled through from the top lane.
Oh man, that is one of the reasons it's quite difficult to dive EXO. He has a little bit of damage reduction, has a little bit of safety in his stun and his dash away as well.
There it comes, guys, and that's going to be the Cinch taking down. What an easy double kill with that poison trail. So, Mineski, what a decisive teleport play, giving 2 kills to Kaigo.
Overcommitment there. He really wanted to make sure Crazy gets back in the game, but they kind of overcommit there. A few turret shots, and then in position to be teleported on by Kaigo. It definitely puts them way behind, especially since EXO was already very near his turret. Mid lane is a very short place here, so if you miss something important, or if your opponent is already way too deep in his own territory, it's just too dangerous to try and commit to that.
Let's look at the replay to see what happened.
And so he gets a very good Arctic Assault here, but Amsu's taking a few turret shots. That's actually huge. That was like half his health bar. And this is enough for the slowdown from Kaigo. Flame was not able to go to Tamsu, but Tamsu sticks around trying to help Queasy in hopes that Marshmallow could help them out. But he gets stuck in that trail of poison and gets taken out unnecessarily, I believe.
Man, you cannot underestimate that poison trail, guys. So, what an easy kill for Kaigo in the mid lane. So, that's pretty much of a worth teleport. Gets 2 kills, immediately stacking up his double dark seal, and look at that, a minion dematerializer on his kick there. So, like I said before, during the drafting phase, the Ornn in a way gives up the laning phase for, in return, powerful teamfight tools. But with this pace, Atlas, I'm pretty sure Mineski will try and mold it down more.
Yeah, basically give AX a taste of their own medicine from earlier. They control the early game and then try and go for some aggressive plays, and they're in a position to do so. However,
engage coming from down, Kurosu immediately gets impaled by the Scorner, and that's gonna be the Alistar being dragged into 3 members, piling up. Ignite sticking onto Hamas. Here comes the relentless pursuit and a double shot and a flash in for Clyde. He will take the kill, but it will cost him his life, perhaps. Yes, it will, with TG taking that revenge kill.
2 for 1, but 2 kills on Clyde. That is not bad at all. Getting 2 kills on that Lucian in total is quite good. Actually evens it out with James. I think the main keystone for this one is going to be EXO and Crazy. How this matchup is going to go.
Wants to set up, really wants to help Crazy.
He has his ultimate. So EXO has to be very careful here. He's very confident.
So it's under level. They're going in for that tower dive. EXO's under tower, but he does flash away. What a dive done by EXO, taking down the Yasuo.
And a thumbs up emote just for good measure there. EXO very confident in how he played that, jumping in, knowing he had flash, knowing that Tamsu, while it is around, does not have enough damage or CC to take him out completely. And at the top side, Kaigo's going to start proxying this hard.
Oh my god, this is actually huge for Irelia, because at early levels they would have been evened out and it would be a skill matchup. But we did see at the early minutes of the game, the junglers immediately intervened.
And that was basically what set it up for EXO. And especially how Crazy played that level 1.
What a great flash end by Ferozu. Overcommits there. Now he does not have a flash. May pay the price. Did not see that Liana is going into the bot lane again for the third time. Giving a kill to James. He picks up an easy kill from Clyde. Ferozu extends. Custom Pro stacks. Pulverize to try and delay his death. But in the end, that's an easy double going to James.
Really focusing that make sure that James gets most of the kills here because they know that he's one of their win conditions. Aside from EXO, James setting it up for the bullet time. If they get that,
now they're going for the Ocean Drake Atlas.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of regeneration for their laning players.
So now we're seeing here Mineski going in for the first break of the game, the Ocean Drake, because they can. What a safe take there. Great job wiping out the bot lane. And what else can you take? Just take away the free Drake right there.
This is a huge lead here. I think AEX, they try to go for some aggressive plays mid lane and then bot side. I think that they have a hangover from the previous game here because they were just free to make all the aggressive moves in the previous game because they had such a huge lead early game coming from their good mix-up of their lanes. But here, they're not in the same position. Mineski has better early game pressure, especially in mid lane and the jungle. Because of what's happened so far. So they can't make those over-aggressive plays without sufficient vision.
They need to rely on Clyde. Clyde right now is 2-2-0. They need to help them scale up here. Looks like they'll catch TG. Uses the Glacial Fish to slow down Tamsu. Clyde going in there. They're still unbreakable. I think that's too much damage for this trying to handle. James is right now on a killing spree. He's being chased down here. Karosa trying to back away. Oh no. He's not going to survive this one. He's going to get stunned there. Pops that stopwatch to buy some time. Pulverize should be up here. There's the combo. Trying to get away. Gets slowed by the Make It Rain there. Then that's going to be another kill for Liana.
That is just terrifying coming from Mineski. Even though Mineski was the ones jumped, AEX engages on them. But really, that is such a bad move. Your mid lane has no power to combat that, to respond to that. Meanwhile, Mineski, they can easily pincer you. When you're going for someone on Mineski in the riverside, James was right behind them, being ignored, not being hit at all. So just free to shoot left and right. If he had his ult there, it would have been much more devastating for AEX.
Look at this. Kaigo completely abusing this Singe. That's what you want to do. Leaving a Singe open. That's what you're supposed to counter jungle, remove everything, and make this Sejuani fall behind even more.
Just making sure that it's also much harder for Mabel to actually get a lot of CS. EXO, he might be in for a bad time, but know this, Kreezy has almost no damage at this point. So if Tamsu ganks here, EXO can easily 2v1 them, especially since he has Ignite right now.
He also has the Ninja Tabi as defensive item, so you can really expect that EXO will survive everything that AEX will throw at
Korosu
them
and Clyde moving into mid lane, see if they can go for something top, but Mineski ahead of him.
Oh man, rest in peace there, the Orn. That gets playing back there, Ignite's taking, and I think Marshmallow cannot escape from that. That's going to be another kill for James. 5-2-2, immediately finishing up the Ghost play. A flash in playing will connect onto the Lucian. Look at that, the bullet time will shred the armor of the Alistar, giving the kill to Kaigo.
You really don't want to go too close to Kaigo there, Clyde. Playing with fire, playing with fire there, really almost died. But looking at this,
my God, Atlas, we're seeing a very different game here, and I think the viewers out there can feel Mineski's anger from game 1, going to game 2, making great use of it. Now, looking at the kill score here, is 12-2. That's a great start. I mean, that much of a GOAT lead.
He's going to face check.
Oh God, he's going to get his face check. He's not going to escape there. Look at that double lockdown CC there.
He can.
From the Aurelia, but the Vanguard's Edge will finally connect. Warden is coming in.
That off.
They can re-engage here. So, 8,000 gold lead around the 30-minute mark. That is huge. Mineski not stalling this game anymore. Look at that. Already focusing in the inner top lane turret.
Mineski just giving AX a taste of their own medicine, forcing them to face check and then jumping on them, diving them. This is just Mineski picking up the slack here, being able to play proactively, playing the lanes good. See how this plays out.
The Glacial Fissure was used for disengage. Blascone will be there for the escape.
Great escape come from that. Could transition into a Rift Herald, which will push the advantage further. Rift Herald helped AEX a lot in the previous game to push down and just open up the map for themselves. But now Mineski is going to be the ones possibly taking it. Doesn't seem like Acclaim Empire X is going to try and contest that at all.
My God, 10,000 gold lead just 13 minutes into the game, Atlas. Looks like Mineski.
Look at EXO and James' gold.
My God.
Yeah, EXO is almost twice the gold of Creasy, and James is a little bit 50% over.
My God, look at that. 5,000 to 2,700 in fail use. What a double stun coming from EXO over that wall, connecting with a dance here. And AX Girls will take down Liana, but can they survive and win this fight? No, look at the amount of damage Kaigo's doing with the poison trail. And with EXO finishing up each member of AEX. They're running right now. Kurosu dodges the stun, but it's going to be the Aura eating it up. Flashes over that wall. Hamas will join in for the fun and flashes with a double up. And now it's going to be a kill going to Kaigu thanks to the poison trail. 4 members immediately wiped out from that clash.
Effectively, that's an ace for all intents and purposes. Kurosu might have survived, but Mineski gets the pressure from taking down 5 members by forcing Kurosu to recall very far away. So here they take down mid lane turret. That's another one that opens up the rest of the map for them. All outer turrets taken down. They have much more potential for control, and that just means they can bait out AEX more. They can force AEX to face check. They can find out where AEX is positioned and then position themselves to flank them or get a good engage. So Mineski right now pretty much controlling this game.
Oh God, Blasco, Kurosu.
Delivery.
They can't get away there. He's like grounded and cannot move. My God, that's a surprise from the air. A Merry Christmas gift, a gift from the heavens there. So, my God, AEX not looking too good here, but Mineski returning the favor as we saw in game 1.
And I think a huge part of this is how Liana has been playing and how EXO has been playing this. Both
Liana,
of these laners.
look at his KDA, 12 out of 18 kills. That's great KD.
That's pretty big kill participation as well. I like how Kaigu, Liana, and EXO played that mid lane. Being able to put EXO ahead means that Creasy at this point, with only like what 3,000 gold in his pocket, is pretty much irrelevant at this point in the game. It's going to take him forever to scale up to the Yasuo that people know and love.
My God, Atlas, looking at the itemization for AEX, they have no damage at all. I mean, they were relying on the Yasuo and the Lucian to try and do something with this one, but in the end, looking at the gold lead this much, just not even 20 minutes into the game, means a lot already. In a way, I could even say that AEX at this point, they're in a point of no return, for my opinion here.
I think it's very difficult for them to get back from this. Like, I don't want to sugarcoat or mince words, but at this point in the game, 15 minutes, 12,000 gold behind. Their way of winning, their win condition is being ahead early game and then dominating the skirmishes and team fights in the mid game with Lucian, with the beefy front line that they have, and Lucian can just constantly try and get those free hits in, as well as that consistent damage that they have across the board. If they don't have that because they're so behind, then there's pretty much no way they can actually get back from this unless Mineski makes a mistake that they exploit.
Maybe that may happen for them, Atlas, but looking at how the game is progressing, and I think the viewers are having a treat right now as Mineski is just snowballing this game. I mean, my God, not even 20 minutes into this game, you're already seeing a very, very huge gold lead. So, seeing how the game is progressing, I'm pretty scared for how AEX can try and bounce back from this one, because maybe their only hope right now is to see how they can adjust going into game 3.
Really, and just having a reset of that mindset. And losing game 2 when you won game 1 of a best of 3 is actually so bad, because it turns around the momentum, the mindset on its head. You are so high up after the first game. After the second game, you get taken down a notch. That actually feels really bad, not only in terms of morale, but in terms of how you play, how the momentum goes.
So guys, I think we are seeing some technical difficulties. We tried our best to solve it, but at least it's kind of better. But we'll see you after a short commercial break, a Hyperplay commercial to tell you guys what is it all about. So here's the commercial break.
Hyperplay, the first ASEAN esports and music festival, brings you MTV Spotlight at Hyperplay. Featuring irresistible heartthrob, he's Indonesia's most followed singer, Afghan. Spicier than Tom Yum, here to rock your socks off is Thailand's Slot Machine. Fresh, young and hot, Singapore's dream team, the Sam Willows. Korea's baddest female, give it up for the one and only CL. And more, all coming together with epic League of Legends showdowns. It's a night of history you can't miss. So get your Hyperplay tickets now. Hyperplay, presented by Singapore's Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth and National Youth Council. Powered by Riot Games and MTV. Brought to you by Clear Men. And in partnership with Hyperplay, the first ASEAN esports and music festival, brings you MTV Spotlight at Hyperplay. Featuring irresistible heartthrob, he's Indonesia's most followed singer, Afghan. Spicier than Tom Yum, here to rock your socks off is Thailand's Slot Machine. Fresh, young and hot, Singapore's dream team, the Sam Willows. Korea's baddest female, give it up for the one and only CL. And more, all coming together with epic League of Legends showdowns. It's a night of history you can't miss. So get your Hyperplay tickets now. Hyperplay, presented by Singapore's Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth and National Youth Council. Powered by Riot Games and MTV. Brought to you by Clear Men. And in partnership with
Tell me where do I take us?
we're back. Let's get straight back to our game 2 of Mineski versus AEX. So far, guys, as we said before, me and Atlas, it's going to be a tough battle for AEX if they want to bounce back here. But judging by the gold lead, it will be difficult.
Yeah, definitely an uphill battle. This is an
What
opportunity.
a Glacial Prison, but gets disengaged by the Glacial Fisher. The Force God will connect with the last breath. What a shutdown bounty from the Yasuo. Our King Quizzy still going to teach you. That is a sweet kill. Going to the Lucian. Did you see that bounty? 600 gold going to the Yasuo.
That was crazy backup so much. Not enough to actually catch up to EXO, but look at that. In that time that AEX made a play, Mineski also pushing this turret really hard. They're behind enemy lines.
Two members removed from Mineski. It's a 3v5 here. They have the numbers advantage. The Impair is on the Lucian. Immediately gets melted by the Aurelia. All the members of AEX, they're inside the Vanguard's edge. It's Kaigu, Godlike. Look at the damage coming from the Poison Trail of the Singe. AEX still not giving up just yet. What a triple kill! And it's going to be a complete wipeout for AEX.
3 versus 5. AEX exploiting Mineski staying in the mid lane there. That could have been a huge mistake, but because of the lead that they have, especially on EXO 6, 0, and 7, Mineski just wipes them out. All in the Vanguard's edge, all within that Blade arena allows EXO to just jump around, deal so much damage. Clyde gets melted immediately, and AEX gets ace from that.
Look at the amount of damage that Kaigo dealt in that flash, just slowly melting the members in.
So here, of course, this is a very good engage. James and TG are pushed up without vision. So Tom Su jumps in. But I don't know why they stayed here, because they didn't have vision on that side. They were playing so forward. This could have been a feint by Mineski, but I think they could have achieved this with much less losses if their bot lane played a little bit more safer while still applying pressure. But here, this is where it all falls apart for Marshmallow and the rest of AEX. Of course, they have Mineski behind enemy lines here, but they failed to take into account Greasy no longer has his ultimate. The rest of AEX also out of juice after that initial fight in the mid lane. No Call of the Force God, no Last Breath. So this is easy pickings here for EXO. Look at him dancing around, just taking down everyone he can with his Blade Surge, with his auto attacks. That's just complete wipe, and that's an inhibitor taken down. Bot lane as well. Not enough, because Baron isn't up quite yet, but it's still huge. And this allows him to go for an easy top lane push.
Look at the Yasuo not even completing his... Okay, he just completed the Phantom Dancer right now, but looking at the item-wise, this is going to be difficult. Did you see the amount of damage? Kaigo is very, very ahead. He has the Shurelist Reverie, the Ziggs Convergence, and the Righteous Glory. So that's going to be a tough Singe to take down. AEX cannot let their numbers advantage get the best of them.
They can go for a Call of the Force God to try and repel this.
Oh, gets blocked by the Unbreakable.
That's definitely one of the techs you can have against Call of the Forge God. Just Braum completely block it out as like a budget wind wall. But that is doing so good. Extends Mineski's push here. And looking at bot lane, or even inside AX's base, Kaigu is just wrecking left and right here, pushing in the waves so hard.
Time sticking for AEX. Looks like Mineski trying to close in our game 2, forcing this perhaps into a game 3.
Ooh.
Flash in full rush. What a 3-man last press, but can AEX finish up that fight? No. Look at that bullet time. It's going to be a shred for Mineski. James, great ultimate, giving that double kill, and only Clyde remains from AEX.
Oh man, in any other situation, that would have been a death sentence. 3-man headbutt and pulverize would have been a death sentence, but because they weren't able to finish off EXO or James, they weren't even able to harm them during the course of that last breath.
So now this will conclude our game 2. Atlas, what was that for Mineski? Coming back strong in game 2. That's what you expect from one of the best teams in the Philippines.
19-minute game.
Wow, 19-minute game. Not to mention 12K goal lead, 30 minutes in. That is crazy.
Man, I think most of this is because of how that first laning phase in the mid lane played out. EXO was just way too oppressive in the mid lane. Of course, he lost the level 1, had to recall him back, but because Ignite was burned, that put him in a summoner spell advantage. That allowed as well his jungler to take over and gank for him.
Not to mention they really abused the fact that Yasuo did not have any flash. So did not have the summoner spell,
Constantly
no escape. So
exploiting that.
yeah, like 3 times in a row. So flash was down the whole time. They just abused it, and that's how EXO snowballed in a game 2.
I love Kaigu's response. Kaigu's response was one of the biggest key things that happened in mid lane. That gave a double kill over to Mineski in the early game. And that just puts not only him ahead, but because it gave assists to EXO, that just puts 2 advantages in 2 important lanes for them. So very well played by Mineski. Very aggressive. They knew what mistakes were made in the first game. They were their eyes were open to anything that AX wanted to pull. And there, Mineski just takes over that game so quickly.
And you saw that game 2, guys. So it looks like we'll be moving on to game 3. We're gonna complete the best of 3 series with that. So Mineski winning game 2. Congratulations. Well played. But for AEX, now the question is, can they try and do something about this? We'll see after a short break. My name is Vulcan. With me was Atlas. Thank you so much for watching the Hyperplay PH Qualifiers. See you after the short break.
Hyperplay, the first ASEAN esports and music festival, brings you MTV Spotlight at Hyperplay. Featuring irresistible heartthrob, he's Indonesia's most followed singer, Afghan. Spicier than Tom Yum, here to rock your socks off is Thailand's Slot Machine. Fresh, young and hot, Singapore's dream team, the Sam Willows. Korea's baddest female, give it up for the one and only CL. And more, all coming together with epic League of Legends showdowns. It's a night of history you can't miss. So get your Hyperplay tickets now. Hyperplay, presented by Singapore's Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth and National Youth Council. Powered by Riot Games and MTV. Brought to you by Clear Men. And in partnership with Hyperplay, the first ASEAN esports and music festival, brings you MTV Spotlight at Hyperplay. Featuring irresistible heartthrob, he's Indonesia's most followed singer, Afghan. Spicier than Tom Yum, here to rock your socks off is Thailand's Slot Machine. Fresh, young and hot, Singapore's dream team, the Sam Willows. Korea's baddest female, give it up for the one and only CL. And more, all coming together with epic League of Legends showdowns. It's a night of history you can't miss. So get your Hyperplay tickets now. Hyperplay, presented by Singapore's Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth and National Youth Council. Powered by Riot Games and MTV. Brought to you by Clear Men. And in partnership with...
So we're back to our game 3, guys. Once again, my name is Vulcan. With me is Atlas. Your shoutcasters entering our third game, the last game of the best of 3 series, to determine who will fly to Singapore and represent the Philippines.
Hyperplay is going to be quite exciting, especially with whoever wins this game enter for the match. How they compete with the rest of the teams that are in that tournament. Of course, let's see how this all plays out in the drafting phase.
So on to the drafting phase for our third game, Atlas, with Mineski on the blue side versus AEX on the red side.
It's going to be quite interesting. This is both of these teams giving it their all. They've had a very short read of how the other team plays in this match, so they will have a lot more information to play with here. It seems like the bans will still generally be the same here for AEX.
Talia being still removed here. Trundle did make its appearance in game 1, but Mineski, they don't want to deal with it. They will remove the Trundle and forcing
Even
out
the Jin.
Yeah, the Jin. So trying to pinch the pool for AEX.
Let's see how they respond. It seems like AEX still sticking to the guns here. Banning out the Talia, banning out the Pike. Let's see if anything changes in the bans for these two teams.
Singes could be one thing that AEX want to remove if they don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, because Singe is way too oppressive in the top side. And the Fling just allows for so much potential in a roam, in a teleport. It's just very high utility that they can. Seems like Irelia will be banned out this time. They're changing up their bans here for this match. Seems like that will be the case. As for first pick, EXO on that Zoe. We have seen EXO on a Zoe quite a few times before. Let's see if we can put out the same kind of performance in this game.
Maybe it can, Atlas, being that this is game 3, everything's at stake here. But for AEX, picking one of the best tanks in the current meta, current patch right now, 8.12, the Mundo being locked in by AEX.
One of the best tanks you can have right now. Also, one of the few juggernauts that can actually deal damage without investing too much in actual attack damage items, allowing him to invest so much into health and resistances.
Not just that, also the crazy regen.
There's a crazy regen.
You can be in the face all the time.
Yeah, and the face is the place for Dr. Muda. As for Tomsu, that is going to be the Grave still, very powerful still. As for, it seems like Mineski, they will still be sticking to that run. Ooh.
The
They lock in the
Aatrox
Aatrox.
that made its way in our first day of Hyperplay. So looks like Mineski will give it again to Kaigo to see how it will fare in this game 3.
Especially against that Dr. Mundo, it's a very respectable matchup. A lot of self-sustain and much more damage than Mundo can put up in a short amount of time. As for their jungler, it seems like Skarner might still be the pickup for this one. Very solid so far. Did them very well pre-6 and after 6. In the game 2 of this match, they will lock that in. As for our red team here, AEX, what will they be picking up? Because it's going to be the Rise here.
So you can see right now, Atlas, we're seeing some of the picks that we saw in game 1 going in to AEX. So you can see at this point they're trying their best to take away or pinch the power picks on the first phase. So on to phase 2, Atlas. Let's see how Mineski and AEX will
This
plan
Rise
it out.
isn't guaranteed to go bot lane or mid lane, so it's a little bit of a flex for this one. Let's see how their second banning phase goes. It seems like AEX recognizes, okay, maybe they want Braum again because it has such high utility, a lot of tankiness, a lot of counter engage and engage potential and combo potential with certain AD carries. Let's see, it seems like they want to ban it out. Ziggs.
ADC, bot lane Ziggs, ADC. So bot lane Ziggs was one of the things that we did see in day 1, but it's one of the new quirks of patch 8.12. So
one of the old new quirks. Because we saw at one point in time in competitive League of Legends where ADC Ziggs was a thing because of how fast you push, and now it's making a resurgence with a chaotic 8.12 patch. Thresh banned out, so they really want to pinch TG a little bit here, banning out Pike, the Thresh, and the Braum. So they want to make sure that both James and TG have a little bit more trouble in that bot side, because in the previous game, they were having a pretty decent time down there in the bot lane.
So personalized bans coming from AEX onto TG, but the brand will be removed. So one of the few things that we did see in the bot lane. So maybe at this point, is it better to get a Lucian for AEX? They are picking first.
Would have been scary to face Ryze and Brand in the same lane.
Kai'Sa instead.
Let's see, Kai'Sa is going to be pretty solid for this one. And Lucian is still open if James wants to go for it, but of course he still wants to go for that Misfortune. Doesn't really want to change from that, and it's still within the line.
I can think we at least the Alistar maybe. We'll see.
Possibly. Because that's a pretty solid lane. Can fight out with the Kai'Sa. But that Rakan is going to be very good. Just have all of AEX in a position where they can be bullet timed is one of the game plans here for Mineski. They have a lot of ways to force AEX into positions they don't want them to, with the Impale, with the Charm from the quickness. So they have a lot of potential to actually go for it.
So Atlas, looks like we're seeing some picks coming from games 1 and 2. Something of a mix. Rakan paired up with the Misfortune. I can't blame them. They had great success with the Misfortune in the bot lane. So game 3, guys, last game. So you can expect them in SK. They want to go to Singapore and represent the Philippines.
Definitely, that is a big honor always to represent your country. Just having that, but of course, looking at both of these compositions, I pretty much like how Mineski is doing their depth. They're not fixing whatever's not broken. They have the core of that Misfortune. Just have that really good bullet time, a lot of mix-up potential as well. The Aatrox in top, I'm gonna be interested to see how it goes against the window of AEX there, because it's gonna be quite important. Because if Aatrox gets behind, he's not gonna be a lot of use for the team.
So I think when it comes to going behind, yes, we do see a lot of mechanics where if you do get behind, you're going to be in a bad spot. So for the Mundo at least can try and push out the waves here. Looks like the last, hover on the Galio here.
Seems like
Galio
it's still
support.
being a hover. It could be Galio support. I find it hard to work out, but of course it can sort of be a little bit of a tech to TG's Rakan here, but it seems like they're still hovering over a few champions here and there. Serath might also be a little weird. Let's see how that all is out when they confirm their pick.
So AEX still taking their time to think what they can go for. Xerath with the Kai'Sa can work pretty well in a way. Can always go for a hard push, but we'll see. AEX final decision. This is game 3, so you can understand the attention for AEX at this point because they want to represent themselves in Singapore for the Hyperplay. So AEX, time's running out.
Yeah, this last game in this match really, I think, highlights some of the characteristics of both of these teams personality-wise. Like Mineski, they're still going for their usual. They're not gonna fix what's not broken. Because when in this case, that's the Misfortune and the Skarner for them. They will still go for those cores in this game. As for AEX, seeing as they lost game 2, they'll be pulling out more surprises out of their sleeves in this game. Well, let's see. It seems like they will lock in that Seraph. Let's see where it goes. I do think this is going to be support Seraph because support Ryze doesn't get enough gold to actually get going. So that is a respectable support there. I mean, I don't see it a lot or that often really, but I can see a few reasons why they choose this. It has a pretty reliable slow and a stun as well as long range poke, which Clyde can participate in with his W. So having that, I can't think of a few more supports that could be more optimal, I believe, but whatever's going on in AX's minds, they think this is their trump card to try and win this third game.
We'll see though, Atlas. We'll see once we load to Summoner's Rift for our third game. So on their screens right now, you can see the final drafting phase for our game 3. Let's hope that both Mineski and AEX have a good game and without any regrets, they leave whoever wins, so leave the country and then represent us in Singapore. But for AEX, going with the Zerath with the Kaiser.
I think that there are a few points in the laning phase where this combination can utterly punish James and TG. They just have to be very careful that as soon as TG jumps in with his battle dance and his grand entrance, they will go for an engage on him, because that is going to be very difficult if they let TG walk over them with his CC and his heals.
That is if TG can reach the Zerath in time before. You know that TG can be actually slowed or actually stopped with the stun. So I think the Zerath, it would be one of the solutions towards the Rakan being picked in Mineski's side. So once again, guys, this is going to be a game 3 where Mineski coming from game 2. What a stop we saw in game 2. Now AEX, let's see if they can try and win this game, because seeing how game 2 went, Mineski immediately fixing their errors coming into game 2. We just saw what happened.
Let's see if this is what it takes for AEX to take back the momentum and take back the win from Mineski here. As for Mineski, it seems like they just need to keep doing consistently with how well they did in game 2. Just continue to patch up mistakes, make sure to mitigate all the losses they could incur in these plays that they make. Very high-level playmakers this team is. As for AEX, they have a very powerful lineup here. I think a lot of power picks on this side of the team. However, the execution of the composition is going to be a little more complicated in the bottom lane.
So when it comes to this combo, you have to rely on Mineski still going for the game where they have the snowball. Same thing goes for AEX to some lanes, but AEX can actually afford to stall the game because they have a Rise, they have a Kaiser, they have a Mundo. So that's the game plan for AEX. So Mineski now in a zone where they want to be the ones to snowball in game 3. Let's hope it happens. But can AEX go for something surprising here? Because as we saw in game 1, AEX slowly chipped away the small dents in Mineski's armor. So let's see if they can do the same thing for game 3. But now coming from game 2, Mineski in a way, I think they solved that issue. So
just patch
surprise us, I guess. Surprise is coming up for you guys.
Very good heat treatment of their armor right there. Seems like they wanted to go very aggressive in the previous game. As for this one, it seems like that can still be the case, but they have a lot more options for poke if they need to. But it seems like it is going to be quite a standoff for this 1-1 in terms of score. This is where it all comes down. This is where you have to put everything, all the information you learned from games 1 and 2, all those adaptations. You really need to put it out right now, because if you don't in this third game in a best of 3, it's all over. It can be over in a flash.
I mean, as Atlas said, a best of 3, everything that you play throughout may have some bearing, but in the end, what matters is that whoever gets the 2 points ahead will win the overall series. So let's see, can Mineski try and secure their spot going to Singapore, or will it be Acclaim Empire X going into Singapore and representing us on stage?
We'll see.
So Atlas, seeing how the drafting phase went here, looking at the drafting, I would say Mineski getting a lot of power picks on their side, especially what really worked for them was creating distance with James and with the bullet time, and the Rakan is there. But for AEX, good to see that they went with Zerath. I'm pretty curious how it will interact in the bot lane.
Like I said, the way this draft of this final game went, I think is very characteristic of both of these teams. And I'm interested to see how this plays out, because these two compositions are the way that the draft went. I think they're very comfortable with how this is going to go. So now that both of these teams are tucked in to their comfort zone in terms of their picks, they should be in peak performance, and they really should bring out as much power as they can this third game.
We'll see, Atlas, we'll see. So, Summoners out there, thank you so much for tuning in to the Hyperplay PH Qualifiers. We are still trying to set up the games here to show you some smooth gameplay, so please bear with us, and we thank you so much for supporting our stream. Once again, my name is Vulcan, with me is Atlas. We'll be shotcasters for the last game of the best of 3 series for the finals. So, looking at how AEX is going into this game, I'm hoping that they've shaken out things from game 2.
Yeah, definitely game 2, because going to Hyperplay is the first event of its kind. So
first of I see it.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be very exciting to be the team that goes there and represents your country. So just having that honor out of many that we've we've had the honor of actually receiving in the Philippines. So they have to really break their backs and try and work
Fans
hard.
love
for
it
this.
when they see their local teams representing in the Philippines. So let's hope that they get their best one out. That's why we're having a best of 3 series to see how we can determine our representative through this tournament format. So guys, looks like we are about to load to Summoner's Red. But before all that, once again guys, this is all about going to Hyperplay live in Singapore Stadium, so where esports meets music. So if you ever have time to catch the stream, it will start as you saw in the commercial break, month of August. So make sure you tune in to our announcement then.
Yeah, announcement and all this talk about Hyperplay gets me thinking about how music is just integral to esports, esports experience and in video games in general. Like say it reaches best of 5 in the finals, you pull out the silver scrapes. It's just a core part of the experience of esports, of being a spectator and being, say, one of the crew, one of the casters as well. So it's just a very natural flow between esports and music. So very exciting to see all of this.
It's gonna be fun to actually be there. Sometimes I wish I was there, but I guess I don't have the means to go there because my passport's gonna expire soon. I can't go to any country at this point.
You're stuck here.
I'm stuck here. I have to go to my service soon on December. So once again, I will be leaving December. So you know when your passport's about to expire 6 months, you can't go to any other country. You know that. I wish I could go. I would love to go. I mean, there's actually a promo code in the upper left corner where you can get a 50% off. But maybe someone else from the Philippines can actually go there and root for your representative.
Just enjoy it. But of course, we are loaded into the Rift here.
Okay, Atlas, thank you so much for that. Let's go straight to our third game, the last game for the PH qualifiers for Hyperplay. Mineski versus AEX.
Let's see how all this plays out. Crystal Spires once again all around the map. Both of these teams will want to control that early to make sure that the junglers have a lot more leeway in how they move around the map.
It's gonna be a same mirror movement. Look at that.
Ooh.
AEX, can you go for something here?
Sneaky Breaky coming here from AEX. But it seems like they've already been spotted out by a ward here from Mineski. So easily read there.
Yeah, they're not going for it though. But for Mineski, they're going for guards on their blue side. Maybe we can expect something that happened on game 2 where we will see invades coming from Mineski with the Crystal Spire invade. We'll find out, but looks like Mineski, they're not going for the invade 2. AEX just closing things off.
Yeah, Acclaim Empire X definitely could not go for an invade there. Their only way out into the bot side jungle of Mineski goes through vision, either from the turret or from the ward that was placed in the dot brush in the river.
So things are looking pretty okay for AEX at this point because they were going for some invades, but in the end,